Welcome to Warnography. My name is Warren. This is Peter. Hey, everybody! And this is a Syntheyes to Blender workflow tutorial with 7 easy steps. Step 1, import. Step 2, tracking and cleanup. It's auto tracking this time. 3, orient the scene. 4, scale the scene and why that's important. 5, add zero weight trackers, which are very helpful for placing things in your final scene. 6, we're going to rename some trackers. And then 7, export to Blender. Very simple, right? It is, and fun. Lots of fun. So what are we waiting for? Get to it!
Cool music. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, get it. Oh, get it. Get it. Oh, get it. Yeah.
Come on, everybody. Get busy. Do some work.
Okay, so here we are in Syntheyes. And I'm going to hit the auto tracker button because we're doing auto tracking in this tutorial. And here is my PNG sequence all loaded up. And I will like to add that Syntheyes does track video footage, so it's up to you. It's easier to export a PNG sequence because you choose exactly what frames you need. Whereas if you're using a video file, you have to choose the start and end. You know, there might be some part of it you don't want to use the whole thing. So by using a PNG sequence, you just automatically have chosen already exactly what you want to track. So here we select one, it'll bring in the rest. Syntheyes analyzes your choice, and it's always been right. It is 24 frames per second, square pixels, this image aspect ratio. It is 216 frames. I'm going to hit OK. Bang. It's already caching, tracking, and calculating. Bang. The math is done. Hit OK. There's our solution. That is a tidy, happy 0.59, almost points. You know, it's practically 0.6. Anything less than 1 is awesome. We're going to do a couple of things first to make it even better and more useful. Shift A takes us back to the beginning. And what I want to do now is something I learned from Matt Merkovich on his Syntheyes YouTube tutorials, and it's very helpful, so I'm going to just pass it along, and I give the credit obviously to him because that's where I learned it. And it's about adjusting the levels. You see, I don't have anything in the center area here, and I might want to put something there. You might want a crater or a giant worm popping out of the ground, or an alien ship landing there. If it's too close, you won't even see anything, right? So we need something there in the middle ground, and one way of doing it is to make an adjustment of the levels. Boom, see, here we go. So I've brought this, going up actually makes it darker, so it brings it down. It's kind of inverse, but you know, you just play with those things until you get something that looks cool. Now it's going to cache, flush out the cache. Don't worry, it's not changing your footage at all, and we'll reset it momentarily. So we go there, we go up to the features panel. Oh, now I see Syntheyes kindly asks us, would we like to save? And it's using the name of our footage, of the PNG sequence as we saved it, which is great, because if you use something right out of the camera, it might have some just bunch of numbers. So here we don't have to type anything. We hit yes. Now what we're going to do is go to the features room. Let's clear all blips, and then blips all frames. And then we're going to peel. That just like identifies potential trackers. And if we peel all, it eliminates the bad ones. And we can go to the summary and we hit play, and then it will track them. Okay, and then we're going to do Shift G, and that calculates the solve. Hit OK. 0.715. Don't worry, it has gotten worse. That's because in there it's added good and bad trackers. And you see we have something in the middle, which is good. We'll just leave it like that. You can do this, you can change, if you got a very dark area, you can bring up the darks, the shadows, and find more detail in your footage, and then blip those frames, and you see that's how it works. It's a way of getting all if you got very contrasted footage, you can still squeeze out some trackers out of the almost what looks like unusable areas. Anyway, so let's just bring back our nice flat footage. So P to bring up the image prep panel. I'm gonna go here and reset. Boof, hit OK. And flush that, and it's recached them. I mean, it's so fast, especially when you have an image sequence. Now, to clean up to get a better solve, there's complicated and simple ways, and we're only doing simple stuff in this tutorial. So Shift-C, clean up trackers panel. High error trackers, there's 10. Forest trackers, there's 1. We're just going to go ahead and hit Fix, and then Shift-G to resolve. Okay. We got 0.5. Actually, let's refine that. Let's do a refine. Shift-G. Okay, yeah, 5.5. That is a highly respectable solution, and we can work with that. So what's next? What's next is to check in the 3D room, which is over here. It's also hotkeys 3. And you can see the front view as if you're behind the cameraman. You can see the road. As the camera travels along the road, we got the curve of the road. From the top view, you can see this mass of trackers in the front here, and the fence line, and the curb is here. So things are looking pretty good. Here also, we got the fence and the poles. Oops, there we go. So what we want to do now is to take a look in the perspective panel. That's F3. And if you hit L, it gives the actual camera view. And then we hit J and it'll hide those trackers. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we can reorient this. So let's go to the coordinates panel, F8. Oops, it's not going. Well, anyway, you can just click it with your mouse. F8, coordinates panel. Now we can set up our own coordinate system. So let's look here. Oh, put J to bring back the trackers. The track points, I mean. I can look here in the camera view, and we want to kind of try to align it. So we're going to hit this *3 button. We're going to origin, axis, and plane points. So the origin, we want to remove the existing constraints? Yes. So the origin, we might choose this one on the plane, on the axis here, and out on the plane something else here. And we hit yes. Okay, and it doesn't change the solve, it just changes the camera's orientation. So we can go to the perspective view again. Oh, see, it's a bit off. Let's try that one more time. There's another way of doing it, but I just like to kind of do it this way. So we're going to remove that. Yes. Let's see. Maybe we choose from the camera view. How about, let's see, this one, maybe this one. Okay, hit OK. Go F3. Oh, all right, one more time, guys. It's hit or miss. You just play around and try it. That's all I can say. I'll do it one more time, and then I'll show you another way of doing it. So let's try this one, and this one. Yes. Okay, we hit OK. F3. Oh, darn it. It's just not bad. But let's go to the 3D panel. Now we can orient by hand in this way. So we click this whole button, and this moves the whole scene. So we're going to hit rotation, and also let's put it in quad perspective so we can see. So there we've got that. The front looks okay. I don't see any problem with that. And here, kind of would like it to show off more off into the horizon, like the old cowboy riding off, because the road does kind of dip there. Maybe just a little adjustment. Here we go. Then it's also the standard W, E, and R. W, E rotates, R is scale. W, E, R. Pan, rotate, scale, W, E, R. And we can see that those grid lines kind of match also with the curb, which means our solution was nice. And also, but you know, curbs are not totally straight anyway, so this is just to get us going and give us some way of orienting our scene. Now that we've done that, it looks pretty nice. We could be satisfied with that. We're going to check the scale. First, let's click off this whole button because we don't want to mess it up. And then we're going to go over here. We can put a 3D object into the scene. Let's go back to the quad perspective of the camera. Now, that was right. This right mouse button zooms in. Middle mouse pans around. This is the world center. Hit W, and we're going to put in an earthling. Man is the measure of all things, as they say in Greek philosophy. So we're going to click this magic wand. Now the average height male. Sorry, this is whatever. I don't want to have any problems with the ladies, but anyway, this is 1.8 meters for a person. And so we go, oh, well, it's hard to tell the size because we haven't scaled it. We know he's not 200 meters tall if you look at that picture, if you look at the screen. But he looks roughly the right size. And we're going to click that center point again and look from the side and put his toes in the front of it, and then we'll look from the front. Okay, just make sure he's right on there. Then we can go to the perspective view, and you see that he's sitting there. If we click away, he's standing there nicely. That's a solid track. Let's go back to the quad view, which is also, what is the hotkey for that is F4, F2 for camera view, F4 for quad view. Now, just to show why scaling is important, I'm going to export this to Blender. And a few days ago, or last week, I hadn't done tracking for a while, but I wanted to do some, so I went in and the Blender exporter was broken. And so then I emailed support, and Russ Andersson, the genius man himself who created Syntheyes and wrote the code, he does most of the support. And so within about a half an hour of me emailing screenshots back and forth, he'd already fixed the whole problem. So it works now, and it's awesome, and I'm happy to share about it. So crossing the road, we're going to save that. And here, I used to have to rescale the scene, but now Blender, it comes in, when you've scaled the Syntheyes scene, it comes in exactly the way you want it in Blender. Blender, I'm using 2.81, so we just hit OK, pow. Now we pop over to Blender 2.81. We go to the text editor, gonna open, crossing the road tutorial. There's our solution. I hit enter. We'll go over here, hit run script, pow, you see something happened. Wait for it, and then we're gonna hit 0 to show the camera view. And there we are. And note, it started us off at 0. I'm sure it's okay. Now, where is that cube? That cube, whoa, in Blender, that cube is supposed to be 2 meters or 2 units or whatever you have. And also those units in Syntheyes, they can be anything. They could be light years. Syntheyes doesn't care about the units. It's mathematical. It's all relative. So it doesn't matter to Syntheyes if it's inches, millimeters, yards, or whatever. So, well, as you can see anyway, that character is way too huge. So the scene is way too big. So we're going to have to go back to Syntheyes and fix it. And I'm going to show you how. So what we have to do is to could do some constrained points. So first we go to the coordinates room and we hit the 2 button. Okay. And what we're going to do is look in your scene, and I always look for something which it looks like about 1 yard apart. So these 2 points look about a yard apart. This one and this one. And normally when I track, I either pace out one large step and I put little rocks or other things that can be easily tracked and seen in the footage, or I take a measuring tape or a yardstick and I place the rocks that way. Something inconspicuous but which I will see, which helped me set up the scale. So I click the first one, then I hold Alt and click the next one, and you can see there's a little line connecting the two. First we have to go up to this one here. That's the origin. This lock point, we want to make it an unconstrained point. And then our new constraint point, we want to put it on the x-axis and give it a distance of 1. And then we're going to resolve, and it doesn't affect the solution, it's just about doing recalculation for the scale. Hit G. Okay. Now, where is our dude? We can grab him and move him forward. So he's still pretty big. Let's delete him. We go to the 3D panel. Our scene is backwards. That's okay. What we can do is just do whole and rotate it around. Bring it back down. Let's click that. Oops. No. Take off the hole. Click that center again, that origin. Put another earthling. Now it's taken a lot longer for him to get to the 1.8. So 1.8 is right about there. Now let's go to our quad view and then hit W so we don't. We click that origin, make sure he's standing on it. Okay. There we go. Now let's go to the camera view, which is F2, and let's go to the end because we've got, look what we have. Let's put a man at the bottom, an earthling at the bottom of this totem pole, power pole, light pole. That will give us a better sense of if the scale is right. So we go back to the quad view, F4, and find that. We're going to middle mouse, and then another earthling right on that. Drag out. You click and drag out. These different shapes, they work in different ways. I'll show you. Hit W, and now we want to make sure, see, that's not the ground, so we got to lift him up a bit. Oops, let's go back here. Now, I think that's still a bit too tall. Now here's a good opportunity for talking about zero weight trackers. We like our solution, but maybe we want to know where the bottom of this signpost is in the 3D space, because we can put somebody there, or we want to replace that signpost. So there's a way of doing it without affecting our solution by using a zero weighted tracker. So we go to the trackers room and we click the magic wand, and we're going to click down here and we can adjust the position. I'm at the end of the footage, so I'm going to click the arrow to go that way. It'll track that way, and I'm going to hit ZWT, zero weight. And what it's going to do is it's going to calculate as it goes and average out its position relative to all the other trackers. So let's do it. There we go. It's done. It's already shut off because we ran off the screen. Then when we can go here. It's already turned off, and now we lock it because we're done with it. And then we'll go back to the 3D room, which is hotkey 3. And now we can move our guy across to that. There it is. put it down here. Oops, darn it. If you do that, you hit 0 and it recenters. That looks about right. I can't remember how tall those things really are, but to me, that seems like the right size. About the right size. And since we didn't actually do measurements, you know, a good guess is good enough. So let's say you want to put a bird on top of this light pole. We can do that too with the 0-weight tracker. So here we go. We hit the magic wand, click that bump, whatever that is, tracking that weight, 0 weight, and going back. Great. And we lock it. And now let's go hit 3 for the 3D room. That tracker. There's a couple of ways we can do this. The 3D objects, they always appear on the ground plane or at the very front. So for example, I can put a sphere. We'll make a sphere, the bird. You click and drag, and then boom. So you see it's on the ground. If we did it in this other view, it's going to be oriented the wrong way. Well, it doesn't even matter, but now where is it? It was on top of the camera. So you still have to reorient these things. So that's the tracker. Boom. From the front view, I want to lift it up so it's sitting there. Okay, we can take our other one. Let's delete it. If we used our other one, it's there. We look from the side. Where are you? Where are you? At the tracker. The trackers always show up nicely. See, it's not quite fair from on it nicely from the side view. We can go to F3, perspective, hit J, click away, and there. There's our bird on the light pole and our two guys. One guy halting traffic and the other guy waving for the bus. So these 0-weight trackers are great for if your automatic trackers did a nice job, but they didn't quite capture something that you're looking to get on your scene. You can also notice that the orientation of the scene is a little bit messed up. We can fix that right now. We go F4 quad. I'm going to put quad perspective. Oops, sorry. Quad perspective here. I'm going to hit the whole button. Let's put the trackers back in there. Oh no, it's not. J. Let's rotate it. I could just like, actually it's not the rotation. It's the maybe just a little bit. Just like to have these lined up. Just being picky, I guess. Okay, and also because we've changed the scale of the scene. Looks like that. So there we go. Now, I did a battle scene, and I thought, ooh, you know, with a battle scene you could blow holes in things. How about blow a hole in the back of that, in the side of that building? Well, I actually just put a decal with a crack on it. But I'll show you what we do. Let's go to the end. You don't have to, actually. We're going to click the magic wand. Oh, where is my tracking? Hello, something's gone wrong. Oh, it's because of perspective. We need the camera view. And that is with quad view F4 camera. There we go. And let me just shift it a little bit. You can shift in this little box here or drag over here. Right about there. And don't forget 0 weight. And then we're going to go backwards. Oops. Go backwards and then press space. And we're good. And just to see how it works, we go to the 3D room, we take a plane. What's nice is this plane will actually show up. Oh, did we lock that? No, we didn't. I want to lock it. Get back to the 3D room. We hit J to see the trackers, the track points. It's right there. The thing about the plane is it will be flat to that point, but it's in the wrong place. It's over here. The planes are kind of hard to see in the other views also, so you kind of have to just... Oh, where is that tracker? Way over there. There it is. Oop, 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 oop. My mouse is actually acting crazy these days. So, there we go. We look from the side. If we're able to see it, where's the tracker? There's that. Okay, it's there. We can go click away, go F3, hit J. Wow. Now, what's cool about this, if you just want to put a decal, is that plane will be imported into Blender, and you can just unwrap it and apply your decal, and pop, you're all set to go. You don't have to add another plane. Let's just save for safety's sake. And the last thing I want to share with you before we go to Blender, before we export, let's go to Quad View and put the trackers back in. That's a lot of trackers. You may not want them all. I usually take them all. It's not too many, and you never know what ideas you might get when you start composing your scene. But it's nice. So, for example, that'll be at the origin. But see these trackers. Okay, I can't see because these guys are in the way. So we're going to go right-click and view, hide mesh. Just click on the show meshes, that hides them. So what we can do now, we've got these trackers in the center. Shift-click them, or you can lasso them. Oop. Let's try in another view. Oh, that'll be harder. Let's just shift-click these. They're in the center, more or less. We go over here to Script. We go down to Trackers. Go over here. Rename Selected Trackers. I've already done it once before, so there's a lot of options. Centerline, bang, and now when you click one, it's got the name Centerline 5, and so on. That one on the back, if you want to, we can rename that. Trackers. Oops. Script. Trackers, there it is, rename selected tracker, wall, I want to rename that one, script, trackers, and I'm sure you can set some hotkeys for these, I just haven't done it yet. Sign, alright, let's just do poll, script, trackers, rename, poll. Oh, and for fun, let's just add one more bit of geometry. Now we've got that poll selected. So what we can do is add a cylinder. Cylinder, you click it one time, it appears. Then you drag out a relative scale and then up for the vertical. Now, let's say you want to adjust that. You click on this over here. This is the scaling button, and here's X, Y, Z. So you can adjust like that. Let's put it to camera, and we can even show. We can take away solid meshes so we can actually see the thing a bit better. And actually, if you want to scale the whole thing, no, that doesn't work. Let's go back to the quad view for a moment. Now you see that it's the center of this mesh is at the front of the pole. So we don't want that. We want to bring this there to the front. And now we need to look in the front view. You see it's down. It's not in the right position. So up that way. And now we can scale it up. And let's see. This might be a little bit tricky. Oh, I'm sorry, that is the wrong thing to do. I moved it, you silly guy. Where is it? See, I moved it by I didn't have it on scale. Pay attention. Scale. There we go. Scaling up. And it's too wide. We'll leave that for Blender because, you know, we can scale without messing. We can scale equally on X and Y without touching Z. So let's just do that. I think I want to bring it just over a little bit. Alright, so now we're good to go. I just Control S for save. Now let's re-export to Blender. Just overwrite that. Yes. Yes. Bang. And now, see you later, Syntheyes. Let's pop over to Blender. Now remember, the scale of this thing was crazy. So let's get a new scene. We don't need to save it. Text editor. Open. Crossing the road. Here we go. Run script. Boof. There we go. That's done. 3D viewport. Pazang. Now, Sebastian Koenig in his Track Match Blend tutorial, I learned this from him, among other things. Excellent tutorial series. Go to edit mode. GZ1 brings your cube. And then we're gonna do it like that. Now let's put the cube to where the guy is. So cursor to selected. Oops. Oh. To selected. I wish these were the other way around. Now let's viewport display. Let's make it wireframe. Now we can see if we go into front orthographic view, it's much better than the other guy who is way too big. So the things are, whatever you import, if you have models that are real world scale modeled, they will come in roughly the right size. If you want the best, the exact size or close to the exact size, you need to take measurements or make a measurement and put two rocks or a couple of different things, or even something in the scene that you already know the scale of. Or, you know, if I knew how big these meters, these parking meters, or how tall they were, we could just you put some trackers on there and measure the distance between them. But anyway, so I'm going to pause for a moment, and then we're going to come back and start creating that scene. Okay, so to try and replace that center point really in the center, I did a little bit of experimenting. I didn't do any reading about it, but notice there's this yellow cross when I grab the camera, and I'm pretty sure that's the center point. So, and I know that we put that man on a tracker, this tracker here. Oh, let's unclick hole. Let's click it. So it's right there, and there's the track point, or the 3D space, and the tracker point, so the origin point. So let's go back to hole and move the camera so where it's on there. Now let's save. And a file, Blender, export, save, replace. Yes. Yes. Okay, I already did it, but let's just, I did it to check it. I wasn't being full of crap. Text editor, open your folder, boom, run, viewport. There, see, the cube's in the middle, right where, and the guy's near it, where it was before, supposed to be. Everything looks a little, makes more sense that way, okay. And now for the handy dandy Syntheyes to Blender workflow recap. We did 7 steps. 1, we imported the footage. 2, we ran the auto tracker. 2A, we added some extra trackers. 2B, we cleaned up the solution and ran it again. Once we had a good solution, 3, we oriented the scene. 4, we scaled the scene and saw why that's important. 5, we added 0.8 trackers. 6, we renamed the trackers. And 7, we exported to Blender.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, you wee shite.